it's going to be in Finglish, so because I come from Finland. But anyway, okay, my history goes back 20 plus years in the BI industry. So I've basically slept with every software vendor on the planet. But today I'm going to talk about analytics, and they're not something you should be scared of. And one of the key words for today, not today, but this time, is the visual analytics. I don't know how many of you read the Gartner Magic Quadrants. Who knows about the Gartner Magic Quadrants? Good. What I'm very happy about is that the Gartner made your selection this year very, very easy. Because if we compare, because that's the upper right corner, the box that you should look for your vendor, who to choose. Because if they get there, they have done something right. So this year, Gartner dropped all the IT-centric big monsters, dinosaurs from the leaders quadrant. Because this is for the modern BI tools, the modern analytical tools. So this year we have 3 vendors there, and not concentrating on the Gartner reports and trying to prove why we're more visionaries or able to execute better than the other ones. But I more concentrate on things that you should look and what actually makes Qlik different from the other vendors in the quadrant. Okay, the first one is the correct results. The other tools are very SQL oriented, so they do queries to the data, which means that in many cases you don't see all your data. Because the beauty lies not only how the data is combined, so joined, inner joins, left joins, right joins, but there needs to be something that's called a full join. And if we think of circles, and let's say we have 3 different data sources, one circle, one circle, one circle. It might be that the thing that's combined of all the circles is something that's very important. But let's get those circles, those rounds, closer to each other. So the combined area is almost everything, except something outliers that are not in the data that you're reporting. And this is what Qlik takes care of. It takes care of it answers the questions that you didn't even ask, let's say this way. The second problem with SQL query tools is that some of the data might be double counted. There are some technical terms, what it means, but it means that if you use that value or that dimension in 2 different places, it might happen that the values are double counted. So at the end of the day, those both sides give you wrong answer. Okay, visualization is the key word of today. And what we at Qlik do, we have something called the smart visualization. It's not only that the visualizations are beautiful, but they're smart, meaning if you select something and before the selection takes effect, it already shows you how that might affect in your selections in the other graphs or in the other parts of the solution. It also gives you the possibility to apply your own data or even design your own applications simply by dragging and dropping and using the data that's given to you or that you want to apply in the application. And why is this possible? It's possible because nothing is predefined. When you read data inside Qlik, it associates it, meaning that it connects everything with everything. So nothing is predefined. if you drill down or if you select something in your data, you do some findings. For instance, if you see that somebody has been entering your site or you're running a marketing campaign, you can see that how this particular marketing campaign possibly affected the other group of people or something else. So nothing is predefined, so everything you see is selectable and you can make selections. Google taught us over the years that if we want to find something, we search. There's even a word in a dictionary, Google it. So we Google to find something. And this idea applies also to Click, because you can, when you search, it searches the whole data, the dimensions, the actual values, etc., etc. And with the safe harbor statement, which I didn't have, what will happen in the future, you can even show me who has generated us less than 10,000 euros, for instance. You do a word in question. I don't know when it's that going to be in Estonian or Finnish, but with English language that should work pretty fast. Also, that you are not tied to your local desktop, that when the number of users comes multiplied, then the whole platform is scalable to serve that number of users. We see if you make a selection, if you make a click, if it takes more than 3 seconds for you to get the answer, it's too late. It's too long. It's simply too long. Good. Governance is also the word of today, because there are self-service visualization tools on the market that you can do your own visualizations on the data and then pass that on to somebody who can make their own visualizations. But at the end of the day, where that ends up is something what's called Excel anarchy. Imagine I make an Excel table. Everybody uses Excel here, right? I use Excel too, but I make my analysis on an Excel and I pass it on to somebody. They say, okay, nice table. I make some little changes and I pass that on to somebody who makes changes and passes on to 10 people. And we end up in an Excel anarchy where the starting point and the ending point are not the same reports anymore and nobody knows where the numbers come from. That's why the governance on the data and the different security levels is very, very important. Also, what Click has is an open platform. What we have done with the newest releases is that we have opened the whole engine. So imagine you have all the data, all your associations, your dimensions, your everything you imagine is in a one ball. So we have opened that. We have put something that's called application program interfaces, APIs on top of that. So you can use that data without using Click. So you can use your own visualizations. If our visualizations are not enough, there are D3 libraries, for instance, that you can use, meaning that you can make that application look on your portal or your whatever environment as you wish with the visualization, but at the same time being sure that the data is correct on those visualizations. As I mentioned before, is that not all the time everything comes from data warehouse. I don't know how many of you have implemented a data warehouse. How many knows what data warehouse is? Okay, we know. Data warehouse is a collection of data that your IT department, or many organizations, the IT department puts together. Those projects are long and expensive. But there you have your data, and every time you as an end user or colleague of yours wants to make a change in the data, they need to talk to the IT department. With Qlik, you don't need a data warehouse. If you have, we'll be happy to use it. And you can apply your own data. Something that maybe you have different customer groups that you want to apply in to find out more deeper information on that. The whole design is done mobile first. As I said, I've been 20 plus years on the BI industry. And believe me, in the 90s we say build once, use everywhere. That time, that was more marketing. Certainly you could do something, but okay, we didn't have browsers that time, but you could use that application anywhere. What that means today is that whoever is going to build that application, you can use it on a mobile, you can use it on your iPad, you can use it on your PC, you can use it any browser on the earth that you can find. And the application objects, those graphics, visualizations inside, they know on which size of a screen you are. So, in your organization, you have one application that's built and you can access that anywhere. Good. We humans, so how we communicate, we tell stories. We tell stories like I do now, but we tell stories with examples so that the person who we're telling the story to can memorize. Probably not the story, but some pieces of it, so they get more familiarized with that one. So we communicate by stories, and that's why in Qlik you can also communicate with stories, but at the same time have a direct link to the data. So if you have, let's compare stories to PowerPoints. So you build PowerPoints to tell your story, or tell why your numbers are like this, or why our campaigns worked so good, or whatever. You typically build a PowerPoint presentation. At Qlik, you can build that same PowerPoint presentation, but having all the comments and the direct communication with the data. Meaning that if somebody asks, how did you get to this number? You can go back to the application right from your story and explain how you made your findings of your campaign performance, for instance. Or if somebody still wants to read papers and print them out, naturally you can PDF them, etc., etc. What makes us different to the other tools in the same corner is that we provide the full platform. We support the self-service on every application level. We support what's called the guided analytics, which means that something is built ready for you. So you use, and the application gives you certain possibilities to visualize. Or you can embed these analytics on your portal or any other portal. Or use some different visualizations, etc. Or have that pixel perfect report out of the system. Aitäh!